Coming up on Crossfire Collectibles, we're going to be customizing a Cobra La Royal Guard for our Modern Joe figures with this full build and tutorial. Stick around. What's up, and welcome to Crossfire Collectibles. Today's video, we're going to be customizing a Cobra La Royal Guard, one of Gallipolis' royal henchmen, for our Modern Joe figures with this full build and tutorial. So they haven't done one of these, since their Real American Hero line, and I've seen plenty of customs come out, and people have done some great work. So I figured, I think now's the time. With the hype of the Skybound comics and Cobra La having a big part in it, I'm pretty sure these are going to be introduced into classified series, but I still need some for my Modern Joe line, and I don't have any yet. So I went ahead and pulled together some parts that I think will work. We have to customize a few things that are already pulled from the parts as well as the build, and we're going to add some stuff on. But first things, let's go over the parts list here. I'll start from the left. So here we have a pair of Night Viper version 5 legs from the 50th anniversary. I think these whole legs will work. Kind of got to swap some paint colors here, do red from the knees down, gray up, and get some of this khaki color on these little thigh panels here, but I think they'll work. Next up we have it's called the La Guard, and this is from AVAX Lab. This was a 8-pack kit. Here you get the chest plate, the head and antenna, a pair of forearm bracers or guards, a pistol, and his crazy scythe. So pretty neat. They're going to come in handy. I'd like to use this color, but I'm going to try to get close to it. If not, I'll go over with something else. The next, we have this belt and cod piece from Flash version 3. That was a Rise of Cobra figure. I figured that'd be a good, hang down cod piece. Plus you got a couple tanks on the side, partial belt. I think that'll work. The lower torso or waist here. This is from a Rise of Cobra Desert Viper version 1. I figured, that'll work. Plus it's got room to put the belt around, so we're good with that. So here we have a modified chest plate from a 25th Destro, and it's seen better days, but it's going underneath of that vest there, so it'll be covered. The upper arms and hands are from Snake Eyes version 58, and the lower arms are from Snake Eyes version 48. So quite a bit, pieced together. I think this stuff will do. So anyways, we're going to go ahead and go over some of our markers that we're going to use. And first up, we have Gundam marker GM22, and this will be for the mask, the lower portion around the mouth. Next, we have Gundam marker GM05, and this was a silver. This will be for the scythe itself. Next up, GM12 Gundam marker. This is a gray, and this will be for, I guess, the undersuit, all around the tops of the legs, the arms, lower waist, stuff like that. Next we have Gundam marker GM185. This is kind of a khaki color, so this will fill in some of the accents that's throughout the suit. Here we have a Craftsmart red, and this will be just to fill in some of the reds that we can't match. So lower legs, and if I find some stuff I can go over with to kind of blend it more together, we're going to use it. But this is, and then for the eyes, I'm going to go with a simple light blue acrylic paint marker. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and start painting. But first, please subscribe to the channel. Bring in our plate, and I think we're going to go ahead and start with the grays. So basically we can paint this whole thing gray. I'm gonna leave the hands black, I believe. We're gonna have to paint these shoulder pads, and we're gonna have to add some armbands. So first we're gonna go ahead and get our gray marker out and pop this open, and then we're gonna start the paint process. Ran out of figure room on the lower torso, so we're gonna set that down, let that top dry. And now we're gonna go ahead and get both of these upper legs done. All right, so we have a majority of them done, and now we just need to go back over some parts that we couldn't touch before and fill in those. Okay, now we got all that painted, and we're gonna set that aside to dry. So now our next step will be to move on and try some of this red. And I want to actually try to get this lower cod piece in this red color. So we'll just take this off and apply some pressure. This belt is gonna be a different color, so we're just gonna go around that kind of line there. All right, that's probably gonna take the longest to dry. I don't know why, it's just something tells me. With the red going over top of that orange like that, it's making it pink. So we'll see. Next, we're gonna go ahead and go over to the head. So I wanna get this main piece right here around his mouth done, and we only have one color for that. So we have our little kind of gunmetalish color here, and we're gonna apply that. So we'll bring in our little Q-tip and shove that up in there just in case we need some extra leverage, and we will paint away. All right, so that's that for the mask, and we're gonna set that aside. We're gonna check out our little cod piece and see how that's drying, and it seems to be okay. I'm gonna attempt another coat on this. So that's probably gonna need a few passes actually. But while we wait on that, we're gonna go ahead and move over to the legs. And I just wanna put red from the boots down. And then we could probably fill that top in with gray, just around, I guess, just under that knee. We have the second lower leg painted, so we're going to set these aside to dry. Yeah, I think they're definitely going to require more than one coat, just to fill in the red a bit more. So we're going to set those aside, and then we're going to get back to some of these other pieces, and we're going to break out our khaki, because we're going to go ahead and put the thigh pads on those upper outer thighs. All right, so we have that down on the inner thighs. I'll probably go back and do a second coat on those as well. Now, our vest needs some gray on the inside of this collar here. So we're gonna go ahead and throw that on. All right, I think it looks pretty good. So we're gonna go ahead and put this back to the side, let that dry. I'm not gonna do the collar that's going in over the top of the vest. I'm just gonna leave that alone. And now we're gonna take a quick break, come back, and then we'll probably get to the eyes next. All right, thanks for sticking around. So I do wanna go ahead and get in there and do those eyes, but first, I wanna make these little armbands real quick. It's been irritating me that I don't have any arms, you know, with the shoulder pads that I can work with to do. So I'm just gonna use a little moldy clay here. And I'm gonna roll out a few arm pads, and then we'll paint them like this khaki color. But roll that out and form this on. Actually, straighten this out a little bit more. So we'll put those on and let them air dry, and then we'll paint them the khaki color to go around these arms, so it'll look more accurate. Okay, so there's our bands for our arms. and I think they'll do for now. Now they need to air dry, so we'll set them aside for a bit. And then we're gonna go on and add some more details. So now I think we're good to move on to these eyes. So we're gonna go ahead and get our light blue marker and we'll add these eyes in. All right, we got one eye on. I went a little over, so I'm gonna have to scrape that off. But I had to go over a few times to get that on there. Get very, very close to that edge, a little difficult. I found out that the mask piece isn't entirely dry yet. So we'll set that back down and let that top eye dry. And then we'll go back and do the second. For the time being, I want to see if I can add another layer of khaki onto these outer thigh pads. Okay, so we got another coat on each of those outer thigh pads. I actually like how it's letting the black from underneath bleed through. It gives it a kind of a weathering look. I am going to go back around the edges and gray them up to touch them up, you know, in a bit. But for now, I'm going to go ahead and actually bring our gray back in. And we're going to check our little cod piece here. And it seems fairly dry, but we're going to color in the belt. Okay, we got the gray on the belt, so we can set that aside, let that dry. Now we're gonna go ahead and go back to the head and clean up that one eye. All right, that should be good. I think we're gonna go ahead and go back in and paint this other eye. All right, went back in, did the eyes, and also touched them up. So I think they're looking pretty good. So now we got that down. We're gonna let that dry. And we're gonna move on. For this chest piece, we're gonna test that gray. It seems dry, but we have a couple of, I guess, designs, accents, if you will, that we have to put on with the khaki. All right, got a couple on there. Got to do some touch-ups. It did bleed over a little bit, but we'll set that down, let that dry. So now we'll break out our legs again and go back in with the gray. And we're gonna do some knee pads and just off to the sides of them a bit. All right, so we have our gray on our upper lower legs now, and we're gonna go ahead and set this down to dry, and I think we'll go back over with some red, but they gotta dry up a bit. I don't want to go touching on stuff and then having that peel and then having stuff bleed into it, you know, all that good stuff. We'll go back to the vest and clean up a little bit of these designs I put in there. All right, so I think that cleaned up fairly well. Now we need to get in here and get those, I guess you want to call them collar straps painted. So that's going to be a little difficult. I'm going to bring out another marker here, and this is our silver acrylic paint marker. So we're going to go in there and gently try to color that in. Okay, so we got that in. We're not filling them in fully because we're actually going to add a cape to this. So I'm not going to worry about that on the back. I don't want to go in there and mess anything up. So we're just getting the front of these done to, you know, give a little detail. I had a little drop that dripped, so we got to scrape that off. But we're going to go ahead and fix that up real quick. Clean that up. Now we're going to go ahead and go in and do a few details. So I'm going to bring this khaki back out. And now I think we have our armbands dry, and we're going to color those in. All right, now we got the khaki around those armbands. I'm gonna have to go in and touch up a few spots with the gray. It bled a little bit. So while we have the khaki, we're actually gonna bring our head back in. There's like a check mark that runs along his forehead to the back of his head, and we're gonna color that in. All right, so we added that onto it. We're gonna have to touch that up as well. So we're gonna set that down to dry. and do another once over on these lower parts of the boots here. All right, we got some red down on the boots and the bottom feet. I should have just did a whole once over with them in red to begin with, but the color is different and it's not matching the rest, so that might annoy me a bit, but I think we'll manage, because I'm definitely not going back in and painting everything over. So we just might have a couple of you know, two-tone reds within the suit itself. So we'll fill in a couple more details, you know, as we go along with this. Like, go back over the cod piece one more time with the red, and we'll hit them boots up again. So now we got to add some touch-ups, and then we'll come back and we'll add the bracers, paint the weapons, and then finish up the head. I think we got a couple touch-ups to do on that. All right, so we went ahead and added additional detail to the head, and I think it's looking pretty good. We touched up a few parts, and I think now we're going to move on back to the arms. We're going to bring that gray back in and touch up around these bands, and also paint these hands while we're at it, because I think we're just going to go with gray instead of black. So we'll take the hands off, and then we're going to put the bracers on before we do the actual paint itself. Okay, so we got our red on the shoulder pads, and we got our bracer guards on. So with that being said, I think while I have the red out, I'm going to go ahead and do another coat on these lower boots. So hopefully with that, we can move on and possibly get ready to assemble it. All right, so that should do it for the lower legs. And now I'm just going to kick those back and let them dry a while. Yeah, so there's a few more touch-ups I got to do. And I think from that, we'll go ahead and probably start to assemble it. So we'll be back shortly. All right, we are back. So now I think we pretty much have everything ready. I got my touch-ups in, and we're just about ready to do the assembly. The arms are together. I think our legs are pretty much done. And now I don't know what I'm going to do with the pistol as of right now. I think I'm just going to leave it in this color, and maybe later I'll add a holster or whatever. But I do want to color in the sky tear. So we're going to do silver, and I think for these grips here, we're going to do brown. So I got to break that out. We do have a brown I didn't show off originally. So here we go, just so you know. This is red brown, GM 186. And we're going to give a quick once over around the handle before we go to the blade. Okay, so for the most part, the scythe is done. We need to let the bigger blade, you know, dry just a little bit so we can get the handle part done. But I think we're good to go ahead and set that down. And yes, we're gonna go ahead and start to assemble the figure. So we're gonna do it from the, I guess the feet up. So we got our legs here. Just wanna make sure they're in the right positions, because we're just gonna go straight up. So we'll go ahead and getting them knees up into place. Put this to the side a bit. Kind of angle that down. All right, so we're gonna need our thighs and our lower waist. So here we have that. Go ahead and start to just put everything together. All right, legs assembled. Now we need to move to the upper torso area. So for this, we need our chest plate and our arms. So we'll start with kind of gently sliding these up in here. I don't want to chip that paint. Now we need to get our glue back out, and we're going to go around the inside of that torso with the glue, just so it's nice and firm and can seal shut pretty tight. we're gonna take some more glue, flip him upside down, and we're just gonna drop a little bit into that torso. So we're gonna rub a little bit on the chest and back, just to kind of hold the chest plate on, and a little around the waist. So we're gonna bring that in, open it up some, and just slide it on down. So I guess we're happy with where it sits, and I want that down pretty tight to pretty much on the shoulders, and then we're gonna hold that into place for a few, so it can actually form to that torso. All right, there we go. I'm pretty happy with where that sits. So we're gonna bring in our little kind of makeshift belt, and the glue should still be a little wet around that waist. So we'll just apply that. And there we go. Now he is coming together. So we're almost done. We have a couple more things to do. And the main thing I need to do is, which you guys haven't seen yet, but I made a cape. So like a lot of the Royal Guards, the figure did not have a cape. However, you did get to see them using capes in the movie and in the comics. So I figured, you know, let's go ahead and add a cape. So the way we're going to set this up is we're going to try to get it pretty even around here, and we're going to try to force it down next to that collar, you know, right, I guess, in between the collar and them shoulder blades. But let me see what I can do with this. All right, so that worked out pretty good. We got our cape on, and I'm gonna take a peek and see how that looks all around. Flows good. Got some nice soft goods. So before we add the head, we do want to finish up the scythe. So we need to bring our silver marker out one more time and just get this handle done. There we go. Our butt end of the handle, or just below the handle at the butt end, is now painted. So we'll set that down for a quick moment. And now we're going to go ahead and bring our head in. So we'll pop this off and bring over our figure and attach the head like so. And then we'll adjust the little antenna piece a bit, like that. I'm gonna come down, kind of straighten his legs up a bit. Arms good. All right, I think we can get the plate out of here, and we will go ahead and bring our scythe in. I guess our pistol too, we can't leave that out. We're not actually going to use it for the figure right now, but if we do add a holster later, or if we do a second figure, we'll go ahead and put that on him. All right, there he is. For the fun of it, we'll put the pistol in his left hand. So pretty good. He holds everything nicely, and I'm happy with it. So I think he is finished. We're gonna go ahead and toss him up on the turntable, put him in a nice pose, and then we'll give you some final thoughts.
G.I. Joe will return after these messages.
Be sure to check out our previous videos. A link will always be pinned in the comments.
Now back to G.I. Joe.
All right, so here it is. This is our custom G.I. Joe Cobra La ROYAL GUARD. Full build, paint, tutorial, all the good stuff for modern Joes. And he turned out pretty well. Overall happy with it. Had a couple of few downers there. No, not too many. Mainly the reds. So the red that it came in, well, the molded pieces anyway, they're more of like a blood tone. the reds I had to add are more vibrant, more popping, you know, more comic and cartoon accurate. I should have just stuck to that red and done the whole thing first, and not went ahead and just, maybe I can blend it, but no, I definitely can't blend it. So I probably will end up doing a second one, and I don't know if I'll do that one on camera or not, but if I do, I'll paint those pieces first, so that way the whole figure will match. I thought the cape was a cool touch. I think the scythe actually overall came out the best, and then probably the head. I actually thought about putting actually some cell shading in those eyes, you know, instead of just being all light blue, you know, maybe have a little white in there, or actually some darker blue on the top, you know, to blend it to look like he's coming into the light. I thought that'd be pretty cool, but his maneuverability and articulation is great. So the glue that I did stick in there did not happen to catch any of those, you know, inside joints, and I'm pretty satisfied with it. Overall, I'm happy. So Sundays are normally our days for customizing. If I don't do another custom next week, it's probably because I'm working on Heart Wrencher's Garage still. But I will get back to doing some more of these, and we'll have some more reviews up during the week. So that's going to do it for this one. I hope you all enjoyed what you saw. If you did, please, like always, leave a giant thumbs up, subscribe, tickle that bell so you're notified when we post future videos. Be sure to follow us on social media, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace.
Cobra La ROYAL!